I'll show you, hiding like a pearl for you to heal and guide you from deep inside you, hiding like a pearl for you.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mari Mukwanda Show on Salam Media. So I have Lunga Ncala on the line, who is cycling 2,450 kilometers from Johannesburg to Cape Town in 27 days. Lunga is, he was currently busy cycling, so he just stopped on the side to chat to us. So we are grateful for that. Hi, Lunga.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, and yourself?
Oh, I'm good. Tired, but good.
All right, I'll give you a moment to catch your breath. Sorry we
For
caught
sure.
you at the wrong time, but I guess it's now or never.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
All
indeed.
right, so tell us about this cycling challenge that you've undertaken. What is the purpose of this ride?
Well, the purpose of this ride is healing.
Mm-hmm.
It is to give hope and inspiration to those who are going through abuse and those who are going through substance abuse. You know, oftentimes when one is abused or going through abuse, they are often alone
Mm-hmm.
and do not know what to do. They know that they need to get out of it, but they do not know what is the next step after I step out of it. So I want to show that it is possible for one to venture into the road of healing, even though it is a lonely road and it's hard. Sometimes you get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you encounter pain, like I'm encountering all these elements as I ride daily. So it is, in essence, inspiration and to show and give people a living example that the human spirit has the ability to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Now, take us through the ride. It's 27 days across 5 provinces and 2,450 kilometers. Tell us, have you started already? How are you maneuvering through it? Are you riding alone? Give us all of that information.
Okay, yes. I started on the 25th of November, the same day of activism against gender-based violence.
Mm-hmm.
I left Johannesburg on the 25th at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the original idea was to cycle over 27 days from Johannesburg all the way to Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I am cycling alone. I have no sponsor. I have no backing. I have no emergency car following me. I did have, though, the first day from How Med. They sponsored me escort in the first day. And I've been cycling since 21 days now, today, since I've been on the road. 21 days since I've been cycling from Johannesburg. And I am alone. I am receiving, of course, help from people like yourself in the nation. That's why I decided to pull over on the side of the road and take this call and have this conversation, because I thought it is important that the message is taken out there, you know. So, and also, but I did say it's going to take me 7 days, but it is going to take me longer than that, because I got injured on day 6. And the doctor ordered me from cycling for 7 days. That was a really hard knock, you know, mentally for me. But I rested for 3 days and I had to continue. I continued slowly on the ride, just to be kind to my body. I got sponsored a car for a couple of days. My cousin sponsored his car, and Kopemachai, the actor on Generations, he then sent him some money for petrol, so that actually for a couple of days while I'm healing from my injury, there's a car that could look after me.
Awesome.
And that car turned back at Port St. John's on the 10th of December, and then I had to continue on my own cycling.
Yeah. But eventually you'll get there. I mean,
Yeah,
Rome was not built in a day. Your goal was 27 days, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, you've had to extend the time. Now,
yeah,
obviously, this when you spoke earlier about the purpose of the ride, you mentioned that it's for healing,
yes,
and
man.
you are coming from a place of healing as well. Would you like
Yeah.
to share your story?
Sure, sure. I've been healing openly for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
My form of abuse that I experienced was my father, who is an absent father.
Mm.
That created a void in me that led me in a direction which I was, self sabotage. I then got into drugs when I was searching for who I am, because he was not there at that point in time. Look, it's an old age story, I think,
Yeah.
for South Africans and Africans, Black people in the whole. So that then took me on this journey of discovery, which in the beginning was destructive. Even in school, I couldn't focus because I lacked, self confidence to some degree. And I failed in high school twice. I remember grade 10, at some point they thought that maybe one is dumb, or one is slow to learn, because there was this fear inside of me to venture, being Saba. And I thought something was wrong with me, I was like, but why wouldn't he be there? Why wouldn't he want to love me? Is there something wrong with me? So I tried by all means to shut down who I am and recreate myself in many different forms. And that led me to literally avoid my true self.
Mm-hmm.
And I ventured then into drugs. Drugs gave me that false sense of identity, because now when I was high or when I was loaded, I was fearless, and I was loved by by people around me, because now I could get the drugs, I could do them together as long as around in a party. I felt good being wanted and being loved just as I am at that point in time. I didn't know that this was killing me. I didn't know that this was killing my spirit and my mind and everyone around me. It's only when I started losing things that I started seeing this thing in my mom, or with my own kids. I had 3 kids, and when I had them, I found myself being away from them, and it came easily to me.
Yeah.
That scared me so much, and I, for the grace of God, when I hit rock bottom a couple of times, when I lost my car, house, job, that didn't click yet. I had to go on again, and then I lost more and more. And when the third came, where I possibly lose my kids forever and my own life because I was suicidal, many a times I tried, and when I tried and failed, I was even more depressed. It was like, how pathetic can I be? I can't even kill myself. But it was not the essence of wanting to die. I just wanted to stop this hurt, this void. I didn't know where it was painful. When you go to a doctor, you can, and then there's the journey that started with my healing, and the fight just happened to be there in 2015 when I started cycling. I was cycling just to find freedom, to just find answers. And at the time, one couldn't speak about how hurt I was, as a man. Like, who do I talk to? Where's the platform? When you say these things, like, man, fill up. Man, everyone else has lived without their father. Man, Lunga, do this, And that led me to become an abuser. I abused my kids by abandoning them for some time. I abused women whom I had relationships with because I was not my true self, and that now affected them. Now they had to question themselves. If you can't do, why can't And I hurt everybody around me truly because I didn't know who I was, and so this is why I started in 2015 cycling in Port Elizabeth, literally just to not die. And over time, as I started moving, I started hearing. I know it sounds crazy, but I started hearing the voice of God. I started hearing myself. I started feeling again. And when I took myself to rehab, eventually when I had to surrender myself to say, hey, look, my best thinking, my best idea, my best doing is not working here, you know? So I took myself to a 42-day stay at a rehab center. At that time, I was so broke, I couldn't afford anything. I had to go to, you know, a government rehab, which are very rare. And this is why I'm so actually now to raise funds so that I can build a wellness village which has a rehab center. You know, so after my 42-day stay at a rehab center where the drugs were now taken out of me, I was faced now with the true issue, which is not the drugs and the alcohol, but it's more of what's inside of me. This void I felt that my dad was not there. And then I started healing. Me and him are speaking now. Me and him have amended the bridges because I said to him, Dad, I need to be able to hate you first before I can learn how to love you, because I need to know who you are. I don't know who you are, man. I mean, I'm 30-something, I'm 36 years old now, but I mean, me and him started building ourselves like 2 years ago or something like that, a couple of years, but it took some time. And it took intentional doing. It was painful because for me to be able to be present for my own kids and love my own kids, I had to do the most painful thing, is love a man who I didn't know. So I had to, it's really hard. I'm getting emotional now, but I mean, it's really hard because I had to learn that my vulnerability is not a weakness.
Yes.
Me saying, Dad, I want a hug, is not me being less of a man, or what I don't even know what a man is, you know, in terms of definition or whatever, because either you're not tough enough, you're not strong enough, or whatever, you know. But I just want not to hurt anymore, and I just wanted not to hurt others anymore, and I wanted to be a father, and I didn't know how to be that because I've never seen that, you know.
And
all this now. Sorry.
It's so interesting that you mentioned this, how the absence of your father has affected you and how it started becoming a recurring thing to you also, and you have started becoming that person that your father was to you. And earlier on, we were having a discussion with one of the co-founders of ECD development, and she mentioned that, you know, it's very important to have a father figure. Not it doesn't have to be a father, but at least have a father figure. Have your father or a father figure. That is very important for early childhood development, and it plays such a huge role. And your life is a testimony to that. That with the absence of your father, it has led you to go through so many other challenges until where you are now. But you have overcome that, and kudos to you for doing that. So just to quickly go back to the ride,
Sure.
Your aim is to raise 250,000 rand for that. So how are you going to go about raising these funds?
Well, we've got a crowdfunding site which is called Back a Buddy. We have Right Abuse, that's the nonprofit organization that I run. We've got an account there, so people are able to then go to that page. The link is on my Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram. So people are able to then go to there and then donate however much they feel they can. I know it's been tight because of COVID has been really hard hitting everybody, you know. So that's the one way that people can do. They can donate. However, after the ride, after I've reached Cape Town, I'll then be able to then share various other ways that people can be able to donate, because like I said earlier on, I'm doing this all on my own, and I don't have a job, you know. So I'll be able to then share other ways. We've got programs that we are going to be rolling out, and there are some merchandise that we're going to be selling, which, you know, I think it's always good that people can have something tangible with them, and that money that they've used to buy that can also go towards right abuse. So I mean, 250,000 rand is just for now. That's the first thing that we want to raise, but we've got bigger plans, bigger ambition, because like I said, healing is quite an intricate process.
Yes.
The father wound is just one aspect of healing for people who are abused. You know? My understanding of this is that should we find who they are, we'll be able to heal. So to raise 250,000 rand is on our Facebook page at Right Abuse. There's more information in terms of how people can then donate and how people can contribute. I've also got some black businesses, small black business, who have picked up on this. They've come on board. You know, we're having conversations, but we can't really have them on the road. But we're starting to engage, to say, look, Lunga, we are pledging ourselves to donate some money towards your project and your ride. So I'm looking forward to having more black businesses going to CSI in that way.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Lunga, quickly, just tell us about I know mental abuse and men's health, especially when it comes to men, is something that is often brushed under the carpet because of societal standards and what the society and communities deem that men should be. So, how when you look at situations like your own, and you didn't have support from anyone, you were going through mental health problems, and you could not turn to anyone because it's like your problem is not bigger than the problems of somebody else. So how did that make you feel, and how do we get support from communities, from people, and how do we get men to talk about their mental health issues?
I remember the first couple of going through all of this. I spoke to my mom, and it took me a while to try and break it to her and say, "Oh, Mom, this is what's happening." For many years, I couldn't articulate myself. I couldn't say it to make sense for people to really understand that this is what I'm going through. Because at that moment when I was going through my mental, I didn't even know myself that I had a mental issue. You know, I just thought that this is just life. You just gotta suck it up and keep on going. It's only when I started screaming and making a noise, and my way of expressing screaming has been the cycling. I'm not saying that every man now must pick up a bicycle and cycle across the country. But what I'm saying is you need to keep on banging on the door and speaking and screaming and speaking up, because now I had found myself, because of all of these things that were happening, I found myself in a relationship where now I was getting abused because I thought that I deserved it. I deserved to be called you are weak, you are nothing as a man. I felt like I deserved to be smacked around. I felt like I deserved all of this, and I as a man, that it ate at me. And the more I pressed it, just a couple of years later after that, it exploded. And I remember I grabbed my fiance at the time. I don't remember this. I blacked out because I was drinking so much. She said that I pushed her against the wall, and the anger and the things she saw in my eyes, she was so scared. The next day she packed the bag. That moment, like that, I remember I sat there and I cried, and I don't even understand why I'm crying. And I went back home, and Mom was like, "Okay, what are you doing here?" And I just couldn't express to her what just happened because I have no memory of it. Also, I had become a blackout drinker at the time. So I realized at that point that no, something's horribly wrong here. I started seeking help. I went everywhere. I think this is any advice I can give men out there, brother, go everywhere. Everybody. Whoever you can speak to. I started speaking to Profundis, the priest. The church didn't help much, or they helped when they could. And I went on to the next people. I did not stop until I found myself, listen, I checked myself into rehab. After that, like, okay, I've got the drugs out of the way. Now let's deal with the spirit and the heart and everything else. I went into, there are free programs online. I remember I went to the beautiful challenge was done by Tato, a lady called Tato. That helped, the meditation. I started meditating. I started seeking God within me because I'm not bashing any institution, but some of these institutions are institutions. They have step-by-step things that they want you to go through. I couldn't do that. I mean, the churches, at times they don't even want to hear me. They want me to take what they're giving me instead of them hearing what I'm going to say.
Yes.
So I ventured out there. I was pressing and making conversation. It was a lonely road, but I mean, this is why I'm doing this now, so that I can have the money to set up a helpline where men can call me and us as a unit, and we can pray together or we can talk together. And praying, when I say praying, I'm talking about talking to yourself, the God inside of ourselves, and finding a solution. Because if men can understand who he is, that we reflect something higher and greater, we will not abuse the next person or ourselves. So I think it's conversation. It's like what you're doing now on the show, that's another one. That men do not sit back in the corner, even if you don't understand it, brother. It's okay. Let's conversate. I host every now and then cycling rides. I was doing them in Joburg. I invited people to say, come through, let's ride together as gents, and then as we ride, we speak. We do it in Soweto every now and then. We ride every Saturday. We ride and we speak. I host conditions also myself on my platform, and I say, guys, let's conversate. But because this, like you mentioned, is very hard for men to speak in public. So I have created, and I'm still going to create a safe space for men to come and speak and share, we conversate, we pour out without the public or people saying, but you guys are the perpetrators. Now you are crying victim. No. For us to find a solution, we need to look within. So, my advice is, I know I'm talking a mouthful, but my advice is talk. However it may be, find me, we speak. Find somebody, we speak. Because I feel the physical abuse that we exert on women and children, and physical abuse that we exert on us as men, is a symptom of something that's deeper that we need to really unpack. It will take time. And healing is a contact sport. It's worse than rugby. It's a contact sport. That's why we need to be quite okay with being vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, it will take time, but we need to start somewhere, and we need to start by creating safe spaces for people to talk and to offer them support. Lunga, thank you so much for the chat, and good luck with the ride.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Lunga Ncala, who is embarking on a ride from a cycle. He's cycling from Johannesburg to Cape Town, 2,450 kilometers in order to raise 250,000 Rand or more, which will go towards our ongoing campaign against gender-based violence aimed at youth through outreach and teaching programs. And teaching programs. If you would like to be part of this, if you'd like to donate, you can contact Ride Abuse. They are on social media. You can also send an email to rideabusesa@yahoo.com or send a WhatsApp message to 063-862-1385. That's 063-862-1385. You are listening to the Maria Mukwanda Show. We will be right back.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media.